So I don't know if you've been reading the news lately, but some stuff's happened in Happy Valley. How do you prepare for a team where there is so much unknown?
Yeah, I mean, obviously what they're going through is tough. I mean, anytime you lose a head coach who has been there for a long time and has won a lot of games with them, it's hard. But at the end of the day, we're just focused on our building and what's going on in here. And when Saturday comes, we'll take care of the things we need to take care of. But we're not really looking outside our building right now. Just focus on us.
To see Mark kind of play, come out and play the majority of the game through an injury like that, what's that do for you guys on the offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you what type of competitor he is. He wants to be out there, and to see him go out there and play a great game, it was a lot of fun. And he wasn't 100%. We all knew that going into the game, but he wanted to be out there. He wanted to be there for us, and with that kind of leadership and competitive spirit, I mean, it just kind of infectious amongst everybody. We all feed off of it, so it was awesome to have him out there.
You guys average just under 6 yards per carry. I know a lot of offensive linemen look at that stat. How pleased were you to see that?
Yeah, I think some things were clicking well for us. It was fun, and I think for us up front, whenever we can open up a hole for the running backs and get them running and see, the back of their jersey as they're running for the end zone, it's the best feeling in the world. So, I thought things were definitely clicking, especially in the run game. And, I think the most exciting part is that we still have so much work to do. And, there's still some other plays where dang, we could have got more on it. So I think that's the most exciting part, just understanding there's still more out there for us.
Wisconsin's one of the best rushing defenses in all of college football, but you guys didn't make it seem that way. Just, I guess, what was going right for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it has everything to do with us and how we approach everything and, our physicality. I mean, we were going to make it a physical game the entire time, and I think that's exactly what it did. And, it kind of warmed down towards the fourth quarter. And, it was a lot of fun for us. You start running the football, which is, if we could do that the entire game, I'd love to do that. So to be able to run the football like we did, it definitely gave us some confidence and something to build off of.
Did you join in on the jump around?
I didn't join in on jump around, but I did see all the skill guys jump around. So I stood up, but I wasn't dancing like they were. I'll leave that to them.
Did you guys need a game like this where you put it away early and just kind of imposed your will on Saturday?
I mean, I wouldn't say we needed it. Honestly, I kind of like when things are a little tougher. Honestly, I like when there's a little bit more adversity and you got to go out there and the defense got to rely on you to go score a touchdown and things like that. That's what makes football games fun. So if you go out there and just score every drive or win a game like that, it's fun. It feels good, right? Everything's clicking. But honestly, I like those gritty games where it's tough, physical. The entire four-quarter game, you're out there just grinding. That's a little more satisfying for me.
For a guy like Xavier Williams, who didn't play too much in the first half, for him to come out in the second half and get 2 touchdowns, how does that happen? Where does that come from?
It just comes from the way he approaches everything in practice. The way he practices, you see it every time out there. He's always working on something, and to have him go out there on Saturday, I mean, I wasn't surprised that he went out there and scored. Just the way he runs the ball, super physical downhill. Him, Kamar, all our running backs. I mean, just the way they approach everything is why they've had so much success. So that's a credit to them and Coach Young.
I wasn't in Madison to ask about this, but there were the 1-yard touchdown that Mark had, so that was after the Graves interception. It looked like from our lens, Mark was underneath everybody.
Yeah.
Where were you in that pile up? And is that a painful play for you?
It doesn't feel good, I'll tell you that. Mark's behind me, and for me, I seriously just dive down, try and move the guys, and I'm at the bottom of it all. Just everybody's laying on top of me. It's kind of just a complete mesh. But yeah, I was under Mark somewhere in that pile. I'm always kind of the last to get up out of there, but it's a painful experience for sure.
What's it like in a little bit of Iowans, they love their offensive line, but what's it like after a week like that where you get the cred? Social media post about you guys does some work. You've got national college football people talking about the Iowa offensive line. Is that you guys don't want the glory that the skill position players get, but is that nice?
I mean, I don't really know. I mean, honestly, we're not really looking at what everybody else is saying about us because, if you ask us, there's still so much we can improve on, and we'll be the first ones to tell you what we suck at and things like that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the only people and, the voices that matter are the ones in this building. What Coach Barnett and Coach Ferentz say is a lot more important to us than what, those national television people are saying because they know a lot more about offensive line and, what's going on. So, I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's for the fans and everybody to see that. But, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. We're just focused on improvement. And, what the guys in this building had to say about us.
Along those lines, you were the highest rated Pro Football Focus center this last week. Can you tell like, you've had a good week, and how much stock do you put in like those advanced stats?
I don't put any thought into that. I mean, if my thought was PFF and, trying to get a high grade, I probably wouldn't be a very good center. But, my thought process is, what do I need to get better at during the week? I do have weaknesses, and I need to get better at them. And, I talked to Coach Fournette, like, what do I need to do to be better? And, like he tells me, first step, gaining ground, a low pad leverage, like all these little things. And then the biggest thing, like we always emphasize, is to go out there and have fun. This last weekend was one of the most fun weekends I've had playing football. Just running off the football, playing fast. It was a lot of fun, and then you do it with the 4 other guys on the offensive line. You kind of just feed off everybody, and when you got a unit, playing the way that, I felt like we did, and we showed some glimpses out there, it makes football so much more fun, and you feel like a kid again.
So maybe in the self-scout, you didn't feel like you were the Pro Football Focus highest graded center?
I mean, I'm not really focused on that, so no, not really. I mean, I'd be the first one to tell you that there were, the things I remember for that game are definitely the things that, I got better at versus the things that went well. You know what I mean? So that's always kind of what I'll take away from the game is I'll remember the things that went bad versus, the things that always go well. You know what I mean?
What do you expect?